Let's just put a little beat on from Octatrack and a bass kind of sequence. This is now the bypass. Then let's put effect on. So it's quite brutal right now. Okay, so this is the multiband compressor plugin I made for Disting NT using Faust, and then just some C++ to create the UI. So the UI is really strongly inspired by Ableton Live's multiband compressor, and sound-wise what I'm going for here is its preset called OTT, which stands for over the top. And in short, what that preset is mostly doing is it's bringing up kind of this very low volume, high frequency detail via very strong upwards compression. And then it's also applying a strong normal kind of a downwards compression. So the result is, or the effect of that is to really squash the sounds in both directions kind of. And in kind of bass music, people use that with some additional white noise added to create this kind of very crispy textures for bass sounds. And but in kind of Eurorack, we are lucky to also already have a lot of noise in the system that we can just bring up without having to add any noise. Okay, let's go through the controls really quick. So you can set the threshold for each band, low, mid, high. Then you can set the gain with these vertical lines. Those are indicating them. And there is a catch-up, so it will only start moving once you catch the current value. There's the global settings for this down row. So there's a global gain, in addition to the individual bands gains, and then global dry wet. So in the global mode you set this global gain and global wet dry. In the crossover mode you set these. So there's this two modes for the down row, and then there's this upper row for which you have threshold, ratio and gain settings. So now let's set the threshold for the upper band. It has quite high ratio, which is visualized by the lines. So this kind of uniform set of lines shows a low ratio, and then high ratio is visualized by the lines clustering closer to the threshold. And then noting, you can for each band, for the threshold and the ratio, you switch between, are you doing upwards or downwards compression settings for that band Y by clicking the encoder. So here downwards, here upwards. Okay, and let's so I think it's relatively fast to kind of set basic settings for multiband compression with this UI. It's perhaps not the most intuitive, but you can give suggestions how you think it should work. This is how it ended up. Let's just put a little beat on from Octatrack and a bass kind of sequence. This is now the bypass. Then let's put effect on. So you can raise it and make it as an EQ like this. Let's add some. Now it had some folding and yeah, some really noisy sounds there. That's quite cool. Down. some delay and comp.